Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about new subject which is introduced by SPPU in MBA syllabus, Indian Ethos and Business Ethics. And today we are going to discuss chapter first, that is Indian Ethos and Values. I am Dr. Shalmali Gadge, MBA faculty from KKWAG IEER Nasik. Welcome you all in this first session. So let's start. Topics which are included in the first chapter: Indian ethos, principle and practice by Indian companies, role of Indian ethos, Triguna theory, that is, three parts are covered in this particular theory: work ethos, values, relevance of value based management, impact of values on stakeholder, ethics versus ethos, Eastern management versus Western management, and last topic, that is transcultural human values. So let's begin. First, let's understand what is ethics. The term ethics is generally used to refer the rule or principle that define right and wrong conduct. As per Webster's dictionary, ethics is defined as a discipline dealing with what is good and bad and with normal duty and obligation. Indian ethos in management refer to the values and practices that the culture of India, that is Bharatiya Sanskriti, can contribute to service, leadership, and management. These values and practices are rooted in our dharma, the culture itself, and have been influenced by various strands of Indian philosophy. When we talk about Indian ethos, they have certain which is based on certain belief. First is each soul is a potentially a god. Holistic approach in management is based on spiritual principle of unity, uh, unity basically, equal importance to subjectivity and objectivity of Indian ethos for management, distinguish the subject and object. Indian ethos gives us important to character, not to the knowledge. When we talk about a character, that a person with its characteristics come, it is a character which is a real power and real power and wealth, which is excellent at work. According to Indian ethos, total quality management can be assured through excellence at work, through self-motivation and self-development. Uh, Basically, this particular subject has been introduced in the new syllabus of MBA because future managers, future leader, future entrepreneurs should be aware about sound entrepreneur ethic. Ethical practices will be helpful for them for sustainable development, for their long term development, for their for it will help them to bound the employees for long term. So this particular subject has been introduced in the syllabus. So we'll talk about basically a definition of business ethics. Business ethics can be defined as an application of moral right and wrong in an organizational setting. So one has to decide what is right and wrong. It is totally, it will depend upon the person's beliefs, value system. Just like giving a bribe is somewhere else, definitely it is wrong, but up to so it will decide by a person to person, it will change whether I'm taking bribe or I'm whether I'm accepting a bribe or I'm giving a bribe for my better future or whatever. So definitely it is a wrong thing, but one has to decide what will be ethical, what will be unethical. Business ethic gives a framework within which we can talk about the differences. So these personal differences are always there when we talk about ethics. There is one more definition of business ethic: a form of applied ethic. It is aimed at inculcating a sense within a company's employee population of how to conduct business responsibility, depending upon the fairness, depending upon honesty, principle, moral, value system, choice, consequences. Everything will be included in business ethics. Okay, so let's talk about, is there any difference between ethics and ethos? Definitely. Ethics is a universal outlook, and ethos is comparatively more customized, since it shows the identity and beliefs that can be distinguished from other. Ethics, when we talk about it, is a branch of philosophy that deal with identifying, defending and recommending concept of right and wrong behavior. Ethos is a term that is used to describe principle, belief, or idea that can form a basic of community, nation, and ideology. Basically, both are link. Both words are, ethics and ethos are link word. Moreover, when we talk about ethics, can be identified as using ethics has been derived from a Greek word, from the ethos itself. Both are interdependent. Usually, whenever in a layman's language, these words may be interchangingly used, but ethics is totally different than ethos. Moral principle that can be set as a guideline for human being and society is ethics. And in case of ethos, describe the characteristics of attitude, beliefs of certain person or society is ethos. There are certain rules and regulation given, that is a dharma actually is given as per rules and regulation for a society, for conduction of a society, for continuous behavior. A guideline is given in a ethos. In case of ethics, ethics will be more of a personal human being related with a small group. Okay. Now, which are the basic principle of Indian ethos in management? I know this slide is a little bit blur, but please understand. I'll read out for you. There are 5 points covered in the basic principles of Indian ethos in management. First is immense potential. Second is intangible, subject and gross tangible. Third is a karma yoga. Fourth is a that is a uh, yoga related activity. And fifth is a cooperation. So business ethics talks about the trust, power, relationship, reliability, mobility. At the same time, principles are included in this. Now, principles of business ethics include know yourself. So, self-actualization, introspection is required. When you introspect yourself, then that time some weaknesses you can identify. Nobody is Bhagwan Shri Krishna. So, definitely some or other weaknesses everyone is having. Once you realize those weakness or strength or the opportunity, then you need to develop, you need to work on yourself so you can develop yourself. When you identify the weakness, how we can manage at the same time, that is a self management, self control and self development come, and it will help you to go for holistic approach to life. And then last point is seva or services, service attitude is a best requirement for it. Now, what exactly, it may be a big question for you, what exactly a requirement for needs of Indian ethos? Really, it is a requirement? Definitely. It is a requirement because work is a worship, as per Indian ethos. So when we talk about work as a worship, so self-management, brain stealing, meditation, management attitude, humanizing organization, character is a power and wealth. All these points are included as a need of Indian ethos. I know I'm not going into detail. I'll just brush up, I'll just cover all the topics which are included in the syllabus. I'm not going into detail for needs of Indian ethos, and for that matter, for each and every topic, I'll just cover what exactly a concept, what exactly the terms which are included in the first year in the syllabus itself. The basic guideline for the principle is self purification. When we talk about self management, introspection, so self purification is a basic concept which is included. When we talk about the manager, so manager should work as a mentor. So at the same time, when you talk about a meditation, self management, automatically all round happiness, prosperity will come when you learn, and when you sometimes you need to unlearn also the skills and values which you can learn with the help of all these activities. Okay, now Indian ethos in management, this is actually not the definition, but it talks about Indian ethos in management refer to the values and practices that the culture of India, again, Bharatiya Sanskriti, can contribute to service, leadership, and management. Already, in the first slide, we have talked about it. So let's move further. Now the business ethics principle practiced by Indian companies. Which are those companies which talks about business ethics? Really, a company, the company is, it's not a charitable trust, I know, but they are working. Some Indian companies definitely go for some Indian companies will definitely refer some more other points. So, first is a principle of sacrifice. Indian companies are guided by some rules. Almost all companies, not only Indian, even of foreign companies or working, they have certain guideline. They have certain list of rules and regulation, which is known as a policy matter. So all these policy matter, rules and regulation will be based on certain principles, certain beliefs, certain value system. So Indian companies, when we are talking about Indian companies, they have certain principle. There are seven principles are mentioned, which we are going to cover in the next two slides. First principle is principle of sacrifice. An individual is trained by the principle of sacrifice through the process of give and take policy. A person who is willing to sacrifice a part of his bread, means his food itself or effort, definitely he will have a commanding position, a superior place in the organization. Next is principle of harmony. An individual is trained in such a way that he would try to avoid the conflict or a friction. Definitely, when two different mindset people or different group of employees work together, some type of a friction, conflict may arise. It may be related with the organization, it may be related with a employee itself, it may be related with a condition, job condition, but one should guide how to avoid it. There are certain moral conduct and principle. So this is a require for principle of harmony. Third principle is non-violence. When the friction arises, no one should enter into a strike, lockout, or unnecessary outcome. You can avoid that friction is a natural, or that conflict may be a natural, but it should not turn into a violent behavior, or maybe it should not turn into um, some other activity which may be difficult for individual or organization in future. So let's move for the next one, that is a principle of reward. Higher productivity is required, so one has to perform well to encourage to get the award or to earn the rewards. This principle of justice, which is the fifth one who works hard is rewarded definitely, and the one who failed to do so will get a punishment. So this is the essence of principle of justice. So जो करता है वही वो भरेगा, that is what the principle of justice. Next is principle of taxation. One who is means paying tax more is encouraged to stay fit for longer period for a longer appreciation. Here the taxation is nothing to do with the income tax. It is related with one who is hardworking and productive, that applies to taxation. So last is a seven, that is a principle of integrity, which is required. An integrated mind is more productive. So group which are encouraged to stay united in order to get the benefit, definitely like-minded people will come together. They will go for brainstorming, they will learn few things, and they'll come up with a new idea, and then principle of integrity come. If they have differences of opinion, they cannot be no one can hold them together. So maybe for a smaller period, maybe for a short tenure, we can say they will work together, but split may takes place. Okay. Now, here I like to include a very important thing, ethics and Mahabharata. Mahabharata is actually in our Indian poem, in our Indian culture, Ramayana and Mahabharata both are mentioned as we can say a guideline. When we talk about Bhagavad Gita, which is focus on duties, on individual duty, which has been narrated by Bhagwan Shri Krishna to Arjuna at the end of Mahabharata, at the end of, during that particular war. So Mahabharata is an epic Indian poem which is deal with a struggle between two families. Actually they are from one family, but due to a rivalry, due to some greed, due to some or other differences, they are struggling, and which stands on the great which gives you a guideline what to avoid, how to avoid, and what type of outcome it will be. So Mahabharata is considered as a religious text which teaches us an important lesson about business ethics. Okay. Now, this diagram I have included purposely, that is culture related with how uh, our transcultural care decision is required, and how the outcome. It is really difficult to explain this diagram within a 2 minutes of a time. So I'll just skip and go for the next one. But this is an important diagram related with the culture care, and that is a preserve, how to maintain, how the negotiation and restructuring is required. Now, the transcultural human values. When we talk about transcultural human values, we need to talk about we need to talk about few points, that is the equality, respect, honesty, calmness, politeness, teamwork is required, self discipline, all these points are required. At the same time, communication, mindfulness, truth, appreciation, cooperation, When we talk about teamwork, cooperation is definitely require punctuality, loyalty towards the worker. Worker means here's all the employees. The word essence is all the employees. Clear objective, socially responsible person. All these points are required. When we talk about, there are the basic concept from Indian ancient Indian teaching that will be discussed. Who am I? Developing self awareness. All these points, when we talk about human values, that is a equality. Who am I? Then at the same time, working without being affected by outcome of action is this is a main message which is given by Lord Shri Krishna in Gita, in Bhagavad Gita. You have the right to work, not just for the fruit. अपेक्षा किसी भी बात का बुरा मत मानो, किसी भी बात की अपेक्षा मत करो. एंड you need to continuously you need to work. Automatically the things will be restored. Automatically you will get the benefit. Fruits means you will get the benefit of it. At the same time, there is a eternal law of a karma, that is understanding karmic connection. How you will work, the same thing will be reacted, the same thing will be with you, the same thing will be, you will get the same fruits. If you behave, excuse me, if you behave in a wrong manner, then definitely some wrong output will be there. If you behave in a good way, if you behave ethically, then definitely it may be a slow process, but definitely you will get the positive outcome out of it. So that is a self discipline is required, and inspiration is required. You should be calm enough, you should be honest enough, when you are working in a team also, individually also. The art of non-doing. Okay, working in the consciousness of being as an instrument, understanding and managing the ego. Indian ethos actually does not favor negative things. Actually it has a positive attitude towards life, and the world include both material world and spiritual values. But while trying to understand the Indian concept of spirituality, it should be borne in mind that the spiritual values, such as projected by any saga, that incorporating within the self of material, moral, and cultural values, socio-cultural life is important here. Now, in our syllabus, they have mentioned there are Triguna theory. Okay, I'll talk about Triguna theory. Triguna theory is nothing but Triguna theory is nothing but there are three type of a mindset. This mindset is based on your value system, your upbringing basically prepare you like the same way. There are Rajas Vritti, Tamas Vritti, and Sat Vritti. Rajas, Tamas, and Sat. Rajas is somewhere else a person who is a bit short tempered. Okay, at the same time, mm, sorry, Tamas is a short tempered person. Rajas is the one who wants to enjoy the life. So Rajasi, in Marathi word, I am particularly using Sanskrit and Marathi word to understand it more clearly, because all these all these Indian ethos is based on our Indian culture, and most of the words are used from our culture. Our origin is Sanskrit, no, from Sanskrit bhasha, Sanskrit language. So I need to use this Sanskrit word somewhere else. So Rajas, Tamas, and Satvrutti. When we talk about Rajas, so it is a luxurious life, we can say. Tamas is short-tempered person, and Satchil is the person who is calm, the person who has a control on his or her reaction. And all these three vrittis, all these three character, again I'm going back, because Indian ethics is based on giving importance to character, and these three character will be prepared on what you depending upon your upbringing. And it is well known that it is rightly said by our it is rightly said, rightly mentioned in our culture, you are what you eat. आप जो खाते हो वैसे आप बनोगे. It is really in that sense. When we talk about a particular person, how the upbringing takes place, again and again I'm talking about upbringing, because our upbringing, value system, beliefs, everything will shape up our characteristics. Whether we are short tempered, whether we are outspoken, whether we are respectful, whether we are very shy, which will be totally depend upon the childhood. What type of a surrounding, what type of a family background we have, definitely our a child child upbringing will shape him or her in that fashion. He may be outspoken, he may be soft spoken, he may be a balanced person, he may be a very egoistic person. All these things will be definitely depend upon the external factors which are available, which are there in a family first. Because our family is an important part for a child up to the age of 5. He will not be exposed afterwards, after 5 years definitely, when he is in a kindergarten or something like that. So he will be exposed to a other person. Maybe till that time he is restricted to a family, and then next part is a outer part is relatives. So everything will be characteristics is depend upon that Triguna theory. And there is a famous story of Mahatma Gandhi ji about Triguna theory also, that a kind of whatever Mahatma Gandhi ji during his whatever he is going on thinking about a particular passion, because a kind of a treatment he has been given. So in the next video we'll talk about that famous story, but not right now. This story has been narrated by Mahatma Gandhi ji in his autobiography, that माझे सत्याचे प्रयोग. In his book itself, he has mentioned about this particular story about the Triguna theory. That Triguna theory is giving much importance in our culture. Now moving ahead, so this is a last part of our chapter, that is a transcultural human values. And now second last part we can say. Now I would like to mention what exactly a difference between Western management and Eastern management. When we talk about countries which are Indian origin, when we talk about uh, and Western culture management, as you can see, clear cut difference is there. Eastern management that puts greater value on seniority, relationship, family ties. So I'm not definitely here I'll not mention what is correct or what is incorrect, what is right or what is wrong, whether the culture of Eastern management is correct or Western management is correct. I'm not insisting on that. I'm just telling the difference between Eastern management and Western management. Nowadays, even Indian companies are adopting some positive points. Definitely, they get an influence from Western management also. Now, in the when we talk about merger acquisition, some type of a definitely a good flavor comes of Western management also. But just for the, as in our syllabus, Eastern management, difference between Eastern and Western management is included, so I'm insisting on this. Eastern management is more likely to stress on quantity rather than quality. They are more resistant to women assuming position of management, but this is not true. Definitely women are getting position as a CEO also, as a plant head also, but definitely the number is still small as far as Indian culture is concerned. But definitely they are getting boost up, they are getting support from male dominating system also. Nowadays male dominating system is really, it is the number is really decreasing. So this is a positive point also. Eastern management places more emphasis on corporate loyalty. It supports lifetime employment and opposes hire and fire. Definitely nowadays, again I'm insisting second time that Indian companies are also following certain positive points which are from Western management. Western management is more open, direct, and definitely they are flexible enough and creative. They are productive oriented than people oriented. It is characteristics more by individual initiative rather than group consequences. They put together importance on short term profit. They encourages empowerment of line worker. And here in Eastern management, definitely some they are not that flexible. It is all together things. Okay, so nothing else. So we have just brushed up the points which are cover roughly we have covered which are points which are covered in this particular first chapter. Definitely we need to study the chapter in detail. This is just the rough idea about the first chapter. There are a lot many things that we need to learn from the first chapter. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. uh, Definitely as I mentioned you, as I promise you, I'll come up with a second video which talks about the Mahatma Gandhi ji. I'll keep that suspense. So please watch my next video. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.